Hi, coverless comics, probably hated by many, but I love coverless comics. Now, coverless comics years ago, well, a couple of years ago, you could get for next to nothing. Very, very cheap. And I picked up loads and loads. I had a lot more than this. I've got about 30 here. But I've got reduced down from a lot that I had. And lots of Golden Age ones. They were a great way of picking up, sort of like Justice Society of America. You can pick them up not for, about £3 or £4, £5, that sort of thing. Had lots of Supermans, really early Supermans, that were in coverless condition that I bought for a tenner. So it's a great way of picking. Now, I think that's changed. It's definitely changed. I've noticed that even very basic, some of the coverless comics are now expensive. Classify coverless comics ones where the cover also has come off as well. Where it's sort of, you've got cover, you might just have the back as well. Or you may have half of the cover, because obviously sometimes they sent them back, they ripped the cover, part of the cover off and all those sorts of things. There's different reasons why it happened. But this one, the Avengers. Now, I'm not certain which issue. Unfortunately, because not every time do they put it. Now, some things I have written down my comics. I haven't done it for this one. I should do. So I know which issue it is, because obviously it could be anything. The Voice of the Wasp. I love this one, though. Don Heck, of course, brilliant artwork. And it's got the Wasp in it. And obviously Hank Pym there. And you've got a tumour. And, of course, you've got the original brilliant Avengers. Well, not the original, second group. But for me, I love the Quicksilver, Wanda period of the Avengers. I mean, I loved the first lot as well. They were great. Obviously, Hulk, Captain America, they were super powerful. But it's, for me, that one was always special, that period. This one's, I bought this for about 10 pence. This one, obviously, is a 1976 one. But it's got some great Wallywood artwork. And that's another thing about picking up coverless comics. You can pick up coverless comics, great selection of stories, probably titles you probably wouldn't normally pick up. Because you think, if you see this probably £3 or £4, I might think, you know what, I'm not interested. 10 pence, coverless comic, yes, I'll give it a go. It's good to read on the train home as well. So you're sort of like sitting there, what can I read? And a great thing about these is that you don't, well, I don't, maybe other people do. I don't worry about damaging them, not too much. I do accidentally, you just rip them. I'm not going to just rip it now. That would be ridiculous. But this is 1975. But if you do, you just damage it. You're sitting there and suddenly you drop it and you rip the cover, a bit more of it off. Not the end of the world. Now, this one, obviously, is a reprint. I think they got into reprints at this point. Because you see, 1953. Fawcett Comics, Fawcett Publications, I should say, it says there. C.C. Beck. And I just love these ones. Love the Shazam. I had all of them when they came out. I love the 100-page giant, but I've only got one, but I've had other issues of the Golden Age period. Just great stories. They are just so quirky, weird, and wonderful. Well, you can't beat a story where you've got the world of the rats. What more do you want? This one, Origin of Captain America. This is one of the earliest comics I ever bought. Now, no, not actually, that's not the issue, but it was one that did have a cover. This one, because I got rid of it, I picked this up again. I just love this issue. This annual special king size, whatever you want to call it. It was just, for me, was magic. I thought, wow, all these stories set in World War II. It was just brilliant. Just absolutely. And Captain America, at that point, wasn't particularly familiar. Not for me anyway, because, of course, I don't think we had them in I probably would have seen them in Terrific and probably Fantastic. But beyond that, I wasn't particularly 100% familiar with the Captain America stories. So this was a great little magazine. And I loved it. And I thought, well, I'll get this one. 1970. And I always like that period. 1970 period, 71, 72. Just because it's a bit before I started collecting. So it's always got a special moment. Stuff before that, the Golden Age, obviously the 60s. Not so much. I love them. But some of that period, just 2 years, it's always just great to look at and pick up. Here's one that's got a really weird cover. It's got obviously, but still, it's a cover. And you got here Lois Lane. So you got here Soldier. Obviously, lots of little stories that I think obviously all reprints. I don't think there was any new stories in this one, but they're still good little stories. Lois Lane. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually give any details. Now the original one, maybe, no, maybe not. I don't think it doesn't even there. Doesn't give any details. Why didn't they give details? They should have done. They never do. Sometimes they do. This one, I don't consider particularly coverless, but it's sort of coverless, semi-coverless, half coverless, because it's ripped, fallen apart. But the thing is, it has got lovely Barry Windsor Smith, or Barry Smith, as it was there. Not the world's greatest, but it was still, I loved it. It was really weird artwork. His artwork really was odd with the vision there. Some of the oddest Avengers, I think. I mean, the later ones, I loved the issues 98, 99 and 100. They were great, but look at that. It's just superb. Just, now, don't think, every character is particularly brilliantly drawn. I mean, they're fine, but there's just a bit slightly oddness about the artwork that occasionally hits. Of course, he did Conan after that. Conan was, for me, some of the greatest artwork. So that was, obviously, he did Daredevil and a few other ones as well just before that. Here's another coverless one, well, semi-coverless, Panic. Lots, of course, your EC comics. I've got quite a few over the years. I think I've got a few that I haven't found, but I have got EC comics where they're coverless. And of course, they've just, 1950s, they've sort of, over time, they just fall apart. People rip them apart. People have damaged them in particular ways. And also, of course, you can see just ends up just brittle, just very brittle, and you end up, but they're just great. Look at that one. The EC comics are just the best. Really, really good. And it's nice to see them in the original. I've only got about 4 or 5, maybe 6 at most of the EC comics, but I got most of them in black and white. But it is nice to see them in the original colour comics. Dark Horse have done a great job with their, not everyone likes the new colour effects and designs. However, that's Panic. This is no magazine. Not maybe as good as Mad, but still quite decent. Now, someone's done again another cover, obviously put a cover on it. That's a very bad job of cover, but it's still, actually, they did a great job in the sense they also got the back as well. And you also got that. So clearly, obviously, but it clearly isn't the cover, unless it is. It'd be the weirdest looking cover. I don't see that as the cover. That's got to be a photostat. Must be. But still, it's falling to pieces as well. It's got lovely rips there. You've got lovely all-star one. You've got Comic Cavalcade, Clancy the Cop. And they did lots of those in the old Golden Age ones, those one-page stories. And I love those. I've always surprised that DC, as was Marvel, because I think Marvel had a few one-pages as well. They've never brought out a book of all these one-pages. Now, I don't know, maybe there's licensing reasons, because it might be owned by someone else. I don't know. Clancy the Cop, maybe was that DC? I assume it was. But you got here Dr. Fate. You got all the load of characters. Johnny Quick. Is Johnny Quick there? Oh no, it's not. It's Newspaper Legion, wasn't it? And that's Dr. Fate. Oh, that's what's. I see something else's. That's one trouble with coverless comics. Another thing is you sometimes don't get all the pages because then you can see what's happened. Storyline that confused me a bit. Johnny Quick was in the same story as Dr. Fate. No, of course he wasn't. I've just lost that bit of the page. Still, I really love Johnny Quick. And again, another character. Why haven't they brought out a collection of his works? As well as Dr. Fate as well. I think there was an archive collection for Dr. Fate. Spectre. Percival Poop Pop. Something like that. To the Super Cop by Bernard Bailey. You can see, obviously, Spectre there. It's played more for fun than it was later on when, of course, they got quite weird, some of the comics later on with the Spectre. Green Lantern. Now, this one's a very early one, but not Golden Age. 1964. Love this one. Green Lantern 27. And obviously, there must have been some insect damage. Probably that creature there. Could have been involved, maybe. Obviously, using with the power ring. Who knows? This one, classic one. I love Not Brand Deck. Over the years, I've had probably my biggest collection of coverless comics has been Not Brand Deck. What is it with Not Brand Deck? They always seem to lose their covers for some weird reason. But this one's great with Comic-A-Lot. That's a great little one. Now, this is a lovely one as well. Captain Marvel's Return. Now, this one is, of course, Golden Age, 1951, issue number 125. Now, it wasn't the last. I don't remember. Might have been issue 131, 32. I think they got up to 100. This one's 125. The Return of an Ancient Villain. I love the fact they had all up the top there. You had all the Captain America, Marvel Adventures, and all the names, all the various things. Captain Marvel Jr., Master Comics, Tom Mix, Western, all that sort of stuff. Now, they didn't actually have the covers in these. Again, here's another one, these one-page ones. That's an unusual one, isn't it? Walt Disney 8 comic books as well. So you got those. I wonder if they're still around. I've never seen a set of those. Who knows? Pep. Kellogg Pep. Whole wheat, apparently. Of course, you got there, all the various characters there. And Captain Marvel again, and so on. and Captain Marvel, The Mechanical Man Mystery. They were just weird stories, but brilliant. I just love them. Absolutely love those ones. Again, coverless comic. Now this one, All Winners Squad. I love the fancy masterpieces. They were just brilliant. This one is issue, and again, this is one you have to quickly look. This is number 10. You got there, they were just great. But the quality was not brilliant. They cleaned them up a lot. But of course, the thing is, here, they at least sort of look like the Golden Age comics. Though, probably a bit, I don't know. There must have been, I don't know, whoops, not Mike. Other, Whizzer. Good old Whizzer there. And Miss America as well, and the Human Torch there. Steel Age. Of course, you've got the good old Stan soapbox. And let's on to the next story, Miss America there. I knew I was going to find Miss America somewhere in the story. Now, this was a whole long story. And, of course, they also had some of this, which I think is always great. This one's Larry Lieber, inking, Paul Ryman, etc. They're just great to include those ones as well. But All Winners Squad. This is an odd one. Captain Marvel and Tiny Man. Don't really know much about this. This is terrible. Number 4, Carl Burgos. Art by Carl Hubble. It's really ridiculous, the story. But I guess it's just odd. Of course, you had Captain Marvel come out about 2 years later, I think, because it's obviously 1966. Obviously, in 1968, you actually had the Captain Marvel one as well from Marvel Superheroes number 12. And, of course, you got the guy splitting. It's just odd. Why did they call? Maybe you would call him Split Man or something like that. Splitter. Maybe that's not a good name either. But still, Captain Marvel, very odd. And Captain Marvel, Tiny Man. Now, Tiny Man, the Atom, clearly, obviously, got the, I don't know who this character is, the owl or something. Looks like an owl. I don't know. No idea. It could be, or is he Tiny? He must be, no, he's Tiny Man. It's very odd. So long, Tiny Man. This is very confusing. He's Tiny Man. Okay. Yes. That shows you I didn't know the character particularly well. However, getting on to the story, that hurts. Feels like a sledgehammer hit me. Obviously, he's got his powers. Obviously, he's just normal strength when he's obviously very small. But still. Yeah. Don't even know who brought this out. This is weird. MF Enterprises. Weird thing is, 5th Avenue, New York. Very confusing, that. However, Superboy. This is another one. This one's a Superman annual. That's even more confusing. Superboy comes up. However, it is actually a Superman annual. And this one, I assume, maybe it might have been a new story. I don't know. This one clearly is, I assume, a reprint. And you've got some more story. Now, that one is definitely a reprint. This one's Superman and, Jimmy Olsen's story. But again, they never included any details. Would have been nice if they had done that. Warning, watch out for... Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Watch out for Falling. Again, another one you can see. It's definitely a reprint there. But that's another one. Coverless comic. Again, lots of those sort of ones. Wonder Woman. Now, this one isn't, unfortunately, Golden Age. It does actually give a sort of feel when you look at it. It looks very odd, that one. The Bomb. The Bomb. Very strange. Again, they've still got these sort of one-pagers as well. And, of course, you've got Diana, Steve, and The Bomb there again. Actually, I haven't seen any more volumes of the omnibus editions for Wonder Woman. I was just suddenly thinking, that's strange. We've got volume 1, volume 2. I wonder if they're bringing out volume 3. Hasn't been many omnibus editions that I've really wanted. Probably everyone's been thinking, why haven't I done a review of omnibus editions? We'll be doing a Daredevil 3 omnibus review because there hasn't been many coming out that I really wanted of that sort of period I really like. Daredevil one. If there should be a Thunder God, this is a good one. There's a real one of not Brandeck there. And you've got Daredevil going out as Thor. I think that was going to work so well. And of course, what happens is you've got the Cobra and Mr. Hyde. There they are, turning up. I always love those in Thor. I always wish that they just turned up more regularly in Thor. They just didn't, unfortunately, after the initial sort of period. Of course, Loki gave them extra strength and all that sort of stuff. So that's that one. Now, this one, I was so over the moon to get. I got this for about maybe £1, probably less than £1. Serpo, the creature who crushed the earth. And it's great, obviously, great bit of Kirby, because it's sort of like The Thing. Basically, this came out at the same time as The Thing. That is The Thing by any other, as far as I'm concerned. The creature who crushed the earth obviously isn't The Thing, but it still looks like The Thing. And you've got characters in it that look like all you can see some scenes that you just think that is straight out of the, Fantastic Four. Quite often, some of the characters you think that policeman or whatever looks very, very. Well, these characters, look at that. I mean, they're just definitely similar to the ones of that time. However, the Fourth Man as well. You got some lovely work there from Ditko. I think that's just great. The Fourth Man, and it's also got an absolutely superb Dr. Drum. Now, I think this was the last issue of Dr. Drum. Poor old Dr. Drum, you can see like he was fading away a bit because there his Krog is actually bigger than Dr. Drum. You wouldn't know it's a Dr. Drum's Droom. But still, I was hoping Over Moon get Amazing Adventures, obviously just before the Amazing Fantasy 15. And then a Batman one as well. Now, I've spent quite a bit of time going through it, so I don't want to spend too much time showing every single issue. Batman again, another one, the Catman Strikes Back. Now, this one is from 1963. Gotham Coal Company, obviously. This one, again, was in the same pile of comics that I got. I just, like I say, it was a great little collection of coverless ones. This one's obviously Thor Annual number 2. The Destroyer, the indestructible Destroyer, no less. And you've got Loki, of course, involved. As always, Loki seems to be involved with virtually the elemental force which only the Destroyer possesses, for none can withstand it. Except probably Mangog, Galactus, and probably Thanos and a few other people. But they always have to say that, don't they? And, of course, Odin and everyone else. But still, the great thing about this, it's got lovely reprints. Obviously, some really lovely early stories. And this one, Thor versus Mad Merlin. I love that story when it came out. That was just classic. And Joe Snott, very strange. And I always think of, obviously Jack Kirby, etc., doing all those ones. But no, that's just... Also, you had Kennedy in there. Now, I think in the UK ones, we probably didn't have Kennedy. Probably was Nixon. Probably I would have seen that. It always redrew it. Why? I do not know. Always made no sense to me whatsoever. I knew it was from... But still, Enchantress and Executioner. One of my favourite stories. I loved that story when it came out. There's the old Enchantress there, and Executioner, and you've got the Tomorrow Man. Wannabe Kang. Good old Kang. But still, he goes there, bashes away, obviously, and of course, no chance against Thor. Still, Batman, Wonder Crimes of Gotham City. I've got a lot of these ones, detective comics. The reason I love this one actually is more than the Batman ones, and I do love Batman, but I like this story because it's got a good old Atom story in it as well, which is always good. And I love that one there, giant size there. And also, you've of course got Elongated Man in it as well. Now, I think it probably is an Elongated Man story, but it's got Atom as well. So that's just a great one. I love that sort of when you've got sort of a little bonus issue like that. Flash. Who stole Flash's super speed? I have no idea. I certainly didn't. But you got there's characters there. Dorala. Oh, now I love the fact they had 2 stories as well. The day Flash aged 100 years. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, these ones, these little stories. 10 pages or 9 pages. I wish they'd do it more often like that now, but they won't. Still, Atom Bomb, The Menace of the Atom Bomb. This is probably one of my earliest Justice League of Americas. I think it probably is my earliest. Might have issue 11, I can't remember. But I think this one, I just love it. Justice League of America, some of my favourite stories. I just got so many Justice League of America ones. And this is, yes, another great yarn. Atom obviously joins the Justice League of America. Whenever a character joins, they have like virtually the entire story. So you've got obviously Atom all the way through it near enough, solving it, whereas you've got hardly any reference at all to the rest of the characters, other than a few. There you are. You've got, and at the end they'll say, "Oh, welcome, Atom. You can join us," or it was Green Arrow or someone else. Superman. This one is 1969. Obviously got Super Baby or someone, Super something. Carl, apparently. Craven the Hunter. Now, you'd probably be thinking, oh, that's issue 15. No, it isn't, unfortunately. It does actually originally presented. But this is the great thing about a lot of these ones, Marvel Tales. Just love those because you can get at least near enough the same quality of as you would get, and of course, in that comic, it's only a few years before. I mean, it's like this is 1967. You're talking 1963, so you're only talking 3 years. It's not like lots and lots and lots of years. And then you've got this one as well, which I love this one. The older, brilliant Human Torch stories. They're great little ones. That's another old guy with the painter. That was a good one. Oh, and this one as well, the Wasp as well, the Gypsy Secret. They did quite a few of those, as well as, of course, Thor as well. Marvel Tales is really good, and I just love those ones. And again, coverless, fine. This one, Two-Fisted. No, I think it was Two-Fisted. No, Frontline Combat. It was one of them. I did have quite a few Two-Fisted as well, but they're just great little stories. EC Comics. And it does, you say, sometimes people do write them. That one apparently is issue 3 of Prisoner of War. Absolutely fine. Stories are just great. I mean, that's just superb. Just love it. Good old Kurtzman, just masterpiece. And then on to this, How They Die. Apparently, I can't make that. Severin, obviously, there at the bottom. The artwork's quite obvious as well. But this is just great. That's a lovely one. Also, Batgirl costume cut-ups. Great little issue. Probably quite hard to get if you actually had the cover. I think this one is quite a collectible. I don't know. I don't follow what's collectible, what's not. Oh, maybe this one is actually. Batgirl breaks up the dynamic duo. I knew one of the two is quite a collectible one. But that one. And also Batman, the Riddler's Prison Puzzle Problem. Bit of a mouthful that obviously title was. And you've got their Science and Crime Detection, the big manual for that. Very useful to have a big manual. Oh, another Justice League America. This one's number 18. This one's Journey into the Microworld. It's a bit strange. That Atom came in issue 14. Now we're into the Microworld. Very similar, of course, to the Fantastic Four, one with Doctor Doom and Ant-Man. It's a great way to do that story. Adam Strange. Loved the Adam Strange ones. Very odd stories, science fiction ones. This is 1962, and this is Mystery in Space, number 76. Fairly early, I think. Oh, Rex the Wonder Dog. A series that definitely should be reprinted, and this was from 1952. You don't see many Rex comics. You don't see many at the comic marts. Quite often when I'm looking for, I do look for like something like Rex the Wonder Dog. Don't seem to be too many around, but this is I think a great little story. But these are good. You got on the back, you got dog data as well, so you got sort of information about dogs and other things. There's probably some other stories in there, but it's a bit of a sort of rough, brittle-looking comic, so I'm not going to take that out. Likewise, this one, and I have no idea the period of this one. This is, I think, Jungle Comics. Obviously, it says Jungle Comics at the top, but I can't remember the issues. 1940s one, I think. Might be 1950s. But anyway, Kanga or Kanga, something like that. I really love these old Jungle Adventure ones. Really good stories there. But unfortunately, it doesn't give any details. I don't think there's any details particularly, unless you, of course, look on the GCD. I think that's about the only way I would find out. And this one is no idea, and I haven't written down what it was, but someone told me before it was, and I've forgotten what it was. You can see it came without a face. This was an Atlas comic. You can definitely see it's an Atlas comic. Joe Maneely, brilliant bit of Joe Maneely art, but you got some great little stories all the way through it. And another story there where obviously they were spoofing various, obviously a comic strip there, little Abner. And you got Last of the Mohegans, apparently. So that one there. Now, don't ask me the artwork. I can't even make Paul Ryman. Just about make that out. But they're just little stories. This one's another weird one. And it is a weird one. This one is, I really should definitely write it down, what it is. Otherwise, I don't know. Weird, creepy, awful, spooky, ghastly comics. And these great. I say, I have no idea. Oh, St. John's. I love St. John's. St. John's, I've got a few St. John's ones, the romance ones. They were just brilliant. Just superb stories. And you got Mighty Moose. Again, ones that probably never will be reprinted, unfortunately. 3D tees. Obviously, 3D comics were very popular at this point. Moderately popular anyway. So popular, they didn't last very long. So they weren't popular at all, were they? Obviously, someone thought they were popular anyway. And you've also got that Lionel Trains. Oh, I guess that's an advert. Yes, that is an advert. Flush Jordan. That's obviously a reference to a certain character there. And another one. This one is Black Cat Mysteries, and this one is issue 53. So quite a bit after the, obviously, Black Cat stories. It's, at that point, they turned to doing a lot of these horror ones, but comedy horror. I always felt them comedy horrors. They were not horror. They were sort of like, sort of horror. Yeah. Well, I suppose Marching Zombies you wouldn't classify as a comedy, but at the same time, there was always a sense of humour that came about it. You could never take them seriously, I don't think. Anyone look, I always wonder when they would, people that really got uptight about all these stories, did they really not look at it and think, you know what, that's a pretty silly story? Maybe that's what they were really objecting. If they were real deep, serious one, Edgar Allan Poe or something, maybe that would have been more acceptable. You know, I mean, sometimes they were just plain daft stories, but still very enjoyable. And finally, after all that, Millie the Model. I love these ones. And again, these ones, series that I would love to see reprinted. I would hope to an omnibus edition at some point. Who knows? Maybe Kidnappers. Oh, you kidnappers. Obviously, I assume there's a joke there somewhere. But you also got, of course, a great, hey, look. And again, these sort of ones should be reprinted. Love those ones. And Millie the Model again. Millie the Model. They had about 4 or 5 stories in these. Not all Millie the Model. So you did have like Millie the Model again. And I just think the artwork was great. Very odd. They were very stylised. It was, you know, not for everyone. I mean, I totally accept that. People look at it and go, oh, it's terrible. That's terrible. For me, I just think they were just great little artwork. Just really simple. Told the story very quickly in 4 pages. Bang, done. And then on to the next story. They really didn't. And they were obviously followed a certain formula all the time. Millie was always going to come out generally on top. But it was still good. And there's Hetty Divine was in it as well. You got there. There was a title in this, Balloon. That was quite popular. And Clothes Conscious, Millie the Model again. And next one after that one, that looks like, where's that? Rusty. You got Rusty. Lights Out. And they had all these sort of characters. Cindy Smith, Tessie the Typist. I did have quite a few of those ones. Oh, another Hey Look as well. There's one and another Millie the Model. You really get, I think it's probably 52 pages. You know, you get your money's worth. If you're a Millie the Model fan, you've got a lot of Millie the Model stories in there. Well, I hope you found this of interest. Have you got any thoughts about them? Do you collect any of these ones, coverless comics, or do you really detest coverless comics? Do you really sort of think, no way in a million years? Because I know lots of people love it to have it all, and why not? You know, they have it all their comics all in perfect condition as best possible. But I've never been too worried about it being thing. I mean, when it comes to things like my Blu-rays and DVDs, of course, I like them to be in perfect condition because they won't play. But with a comic, if it's not in perfect condition, unless it's mouldy or something, it's still, in a sense, you can read it. That's the one thing. The difference is if you put a DVD in and it's scratched, you suddenly find it doesn't play. Or it's got someone's dinner on it. It will not play. Comic book with someone's dinner on just looks disgusting. And you go, maybe I won't keep that in my collection. I have thrown comics away. I have thrown coverless comics away. I've thrown other comics away because sometimes you just get some awful condition. You know, over the years, they deteriorate. And it's one of those things. But I just love those. Just coverless comics. And I hope when I go to the next comic mart, I will pick up some more coverless comics. There will be a pile and I will look through and I think, you know what? For a couple of quid, £2, £3, I will go for some of those. Not all. Sometimes you think, I don't know. Or I might have it. You might have it obviously already. So you're not going to go and buy, well, I would never buy it again. Try to avoid unless I completely forget that I've got that one. And I've done that quite a few times. That's one thing with the covers. At least if you've got the stories sometimes. The bad thing about coverless is that you don't remember the splash page as well. I remember millions and millions of covers for Marvel and DC. So I think, yes, I've definitely got that one. I've got that one. But if it comes to the image of the splash, whatever, sometimes I think, maybe, because I've read the stories before, probably. So it's not always you think, have I got that in my collection? And I know I always get people say, well, why don't you have a list? Yeah, don't always. And sometimes when you're at a thing, you just buy it. You think, oh, I haven't got that. I'll have that. And then you get home, find you have. And you think, oops. Hopefully don't do it too often. Well, hope you like this. And please let me know, comments, all those sort of things. Also, please subscribe. And also a like if you're happy. And also, please check out the other videos. I've got loads of videos. I've been putting lots of DVD haul videos. And also many other ones about comics and book hauls and comic hauls that I've been getting. So, bye.